Good morning, and it is a good morning. It's a beautiful day. The multitudes of corellas are making a heck of a noise outside, which they usually do. So if you hear them, that's our pleasure. You've got to put up with it. But now, over the last few years, while I've been doing videos, people have said, what are you going to do about it? I can't singularly do much more than I have, i.e. put it to the High Court, put it to the court system here, put it to the High Court, and then put it into England. England drags its feet and relies on us doing our thing here because we can. We have the instruments, we have the law, and we are able to destroy this system. Now, recently John Wilson came up with the idea, him and Mr. Bosey, of a national strike. That's good if you can convince people to do it. I got behind them, but I'm not convinced that you can convince people to do it. However, there is a solution, and it was in front of us, and it took a lot of thought, but I believe we can do it. We have a voting system which is so corrupt and bent and twisted and one-sided towards political parties and everything else, and they laugh and think you can't get out of it. Yes, well, we can. We can get out of it using their corrupt system. All you've got to do is think about what they do. They go to nursing homes. They get people with dementia to vote for them. These people can't fill out lawful documents. Most of them have granted enduring power of attorney to loved ones. Fine, I get that. I've got no problem with that. But if you have a mental disability that renders you incapable of signing any legal documents, then you cannot vote. You can't. That would be ludicrous to suggest you can't fill out a will, but you can vote, which controls the outcome of this country's voting system. Now, our Constitution is set down in concrete. The supreme, absolute and uncontrollable authority remains with us. So while that is so, and it is, and can't be altered, can't be changed, because of the letters patents put in by Queen Victoria. Therefore, I don't care what politicians think. I'm not interested. They are just sitting there professing lies put together by other people. We need to look at the system to work out how to pull it apart. And it was sitting in our face, and we can do it. Everybody can take part. In fact, if everybody doesn't take part, the people that go and follow the system that's there now commit blatant treason. And I'll explain what I'm talking about. You have a duty to this country to vote for one person once for the Senate, one person once for the House of Representatives. At the state level, one person once for the lower house, one person once for the upper house. If they don't exist, the election is invalid. If you don't have the Constitution put in place under 106, the election is invalid. Am I correct? Yes. The Constitution is clear. How are the states created? Under 107, 108 and 109 of the Constitution. They draw their authority referentially from the Commonwealth Constitution. The state constitutions continue subject to the Commonwealth Constitution. They're letters patents. They cannot be touched. The 1898 Constitution Alteration Act of Western Australia is the biggest fraud created on the state of Western Australia. The removal of 32 sections from our Constitution creates a no state. If you say it doesn't, then you're a liar. The Constitution is there, says what I'm saying, so if you say the opposite, you're a liar. Now, how can we fix it? It's simple. If you want to do a postal vote because you're working fly in, fly out, that is simply fixed. You do not do it the way they've got it. That is treason. Because you're voting prior to the election day. Don't tell me they don't tamper with it, they don't look at it. Yes, they do. If it doesn't go their way, they can manipulate it. We've got to refrain from all appearance of evil when we're doing these things so that only truth reigns. It's biblical, it's common law, and it's common sense. So what do? If you are not going to be here, you go and get your name struck off the electoral roll as voting, just like you do now. Use this, the papers. You collect an envelope, you go home. And this is the part that's going to hurt them big time. You go to a polling booth, you get your name struck off on polling day, and you collect the papers. The reason I'm saying this, because this all has to happen at the same time. Most of us, or all of us, would have somebody who could hand in our postal vote in a sealed envelope on election day. So they can't say, oh, it's corrupt. No, we're not corrupt. If you don't trust us, too bad. We have supreme, absolute and uncontrollable authority, and our Constitution reigns supreme. You don't. You do what you're told. That's the whole idea. It's the parameters set by the people as how we wish to be governed. That's our Constitution. So you've got to get as near as you can to perfectly in line. All the outback communities, there has to be somebody from there who can take the votes in on polling day or within a couple of days. Nobody is more than a couple of days from the nearest town. Nobody. Therefore, when those rolls go to those places, you should be struck off the list and given documents. Now, this is where their corruption comes totally undone. And if you dare fill out those documents to vote for any of the people on there, and they aren't made and produced according to our Constitution, you're committing blatant treason. You understand that? I don't care who you are, whether you're a political party, whether you are the governor, no matter what. Now, our Constitution says the governor of the states, not the Governor General, selects a group of people, 100, 200, whatever he wants to select, of eligible people to be able to take part in running our parliaments. Was it simple? Yes, it was put together so that everybody would be given the chance to have their say by representing us in our states. Don't say it's a federal election so it has to be done from Canberra. No, that's all lies, crap, load of garbage, nonsense. It has to be done state by state, and it is the majority of people in a majority of states which elect the people. That's for a referendum. Now, go back to your elections. Each state selects the people for the Senate, for their state. Those people represent the whole state. The Constitution's clear, I read it yesterday, so there's no gerrymander. Gerrymander is where you can manipulate the system, and that's what we got now. It's totally manipulated. You think it's not, you're a fraud and a liar, or you're delusional. One of the three. What you can do, and this is the simplest way, everybody fronts up to a polling booth. You can only vote for one person once. Your vote is when you get signed off. That says you're there, you're willing, you want to comply with the law to vote. Even though I don't believe it's compulsory, they're saying it is, who cares? The Electoral Commission and Electoral Act is treason, because it's got to be done in each state. It was always done that way. It was changed by the political parties to their benefit. Well, it's changed back to our benefit, because we are sovereign, we're supreme and uncontrollable. Keep that in your mind, and I'll keep repeating it. The problem we have is people. You, me, and everybody around. We go to the polling booth, I'll just vote above the line because that's political parties, we want them in. Sorry, you just committed treason if you do. Oh, we'll vote below the line, we got to pick 12. Oh, sorry, you just committed treason again. Oh, we get the little paper 1 to 8. We got to sign it, every one of them. Sorry, you just committed treason again. You are voting more than once. Oh, my vote won't count if I don't fill them all out. No, your vote won't count, because if you don't fill them all out, the political parties either do it for you or throw it in the bin. Understand what I'm saying? The reason I ran for the Senate, I wanted to see how the system worked. I found out the corruption was so huge, I wouldn't have stayed in there anyway. I would have done anything I could to terrorise those people and be thrown out of Parliament. I more than likely would have, because that's me. Now, if you got 600 people, say, collected by the governors of the state, nobody else, no political parties, no pre-selection, no selection, no garbage, that is all treason. The Constitution says the governors of the states will select a large group of people eligible to be able to stand for Parliament. Doesn't mean political parties, communists, socialists, whatever you want to be, doesn't mean any of those. It means a large group of people eligible to be sitting for us, representing us, putting our ideas to our Parliament at the state level, the same at a federal level. Each state, especially on a federal level, the state selects the number of senators allowed, and they go to Canberra representing the whole state. That's why there's no boundaries. The Boundaries Act doesn't apply. You can't have it. You can't speak it into being. Kirby said several times, no parliament by preambular assertion can speak an authority into being when none exists in law. It does not. You comprehend what I'm saying? We are going back to using our constitution. We're going to use it against those. Simply. It is against the law for them to give you a document with more than one person able to be voted. Only if you've got a document to vote, it can only have an area where you put one name from a list. The list selected by the governor of the state. You can vote for one person once from that, say 600 people. I said 600 because it's a good figure to get what you want out of it. You cannot put next to them a political party. You can only put them their name, their address, and what they do for a living. So you know that person. You cannot have a political party because tucked in there is, I want this, I need to do this in the state, we want to do X amount of things. Our political party doesn't want it, so we're not going to do it. If we do that, then we're not going to get those votes from here, and this is the biggest voting majority. That's why our system is how it is, so that we can vote for one person once to represent the whole state, not just an area that benefits the Liberal Party, the Labor Party, the Nationals, and the Greens. You cannot lawfully fill out any of the forms you get at a polling booth. What I'm saying is take the corruption out. This is the only way you can get rid of the corruption. No electronic voting. No preferential voting whatsoever. There's nowhere in the Constitution. Billy Hughes introduced it. Oh, look at that. Good old Fabian Labor. Liar. Fraud. That's all they are. What they're trying to do is control this country by lying and cheating and stealing from us. They're not going to do it. So when you go into a polling booth, go up to them just like you normally do, and don't say it's better not to vote. That's a lie. That's a con, because it's a donkey vote and it goes to the biggest party, or the one they want in. I know for a fact from witnesses in several polling booths where they've taken the smaller parties that aren't Liberal, Labor, Nationals and Greens and put them on the ones that are convenient for them, the ones that they want to get in. And when you get a landslide victory, that they call it, it's a fraud. You can't tell me that 70% of the people voted for one person. That's nonsense. We have to keep this honest. There's no other way other than to get your name ticked off, proves you went there to vote. So if there's any lawful way they can force you to vote, you've just complied, you're there. What can stop you voting? Those papers, because they're not lawful. Not one voting paper, whether it is handed to you, is lawful. I'm not going in there to press a button so I vote for that person. No. Because they can go flick and put it on someone else's. They want you to use a pencil. Why? Why are you forced to use a pencil? So they can change it later. Rubber takes it out. I learned how to rub things out in kindergarten. They're not changing the truth. They're changing it to suit themselves. Don't say they don't, because they do. I know they do. You see, you people that work for the government and everything, you think we're thick. But we systematically, like you, have gone into your system with people that we know that you don't know we know. Makes sense? Think about it, it does. And from that, we derive the lies and the fraud that is going on in relation to elections. To vote, you can only vote according to our Constitution. That is the only authority to vote. If it says in there you have to, in their eyes, then we'll do it. But we'll do it lawfully. The only lawful way is to sign off. So if you went there, get your papers, look at them, If they do not comply with the Constitution, i.e. you have a list of the people you've got to select one from for the Senate, and one for the House of Representatives, then those papers are all invalid. They're unlawful. That's treason to fill those papers out. You understand? You are not doing the right thing then if you fill those papers out. You are committing blatant treason and treachery to overturn our Constitution. You comprehend what I'm saying? We then take back control of who we put into our Parliament. If there are no large group of people selected by a lawful governor, that means getting rid of the garbage we got and putting a lawful governor there, because the idiot in this state is not a lawful governor. Get that, Dawson, you're a liar, a fraud, and you were the Minister for Vaccinations. How did you do that, and the Commissioner of Police, and be impartial? Liar, fraud. Now get back to the voting. Sign your name off. You're there. You went there to vote. Complied with the law by getting your name signed off, proving you were going to vote. You cannot fill out a paper which isn't lawful. Do those documents comply with the Constitution? No. So you can't fill them out. If you do, you commit treason. I don't care if you're the Pope or Joe Blow in the gutter drunk. Your position in society matters not. You are one person of the 27 million people make up this country. It doesn't matter if you're black, white, brindle, come here as an immigrant or whatever. You must comply with our law. They say, oh, well, we'll do this for you if you vote for this political party. When they come in, I know what they do. I know what they say to all the immigrants. You can do this, and their little booklet says we've got 3 tiers of government. That's a lie. We've got 2, federal and state. That's it. No local, that's crap. Local government is the state parliament. So we only have 2. Everybody who goes in that polling booth, you look at your papers once you've signed off. You pick up those papers, you fold them up because they don't comply. You put them in your pocket and take them out. I do every time. I cannot fill out those papers and break the law, nor can you. You're not just breaking a little law that's a $10 fine. They give you a $20 fine if you don't vote. That's just to get into your bank account. Because if you don't, next thing, it's $160 odd for the summons. You go to court and the magistrate gets you in there, you try to defend it, you end up with a couple of $1,000 or even more, maybe up to $6,000 or $7,000 to defend, oh, you didn't vote. So you go and get your name ticked off. You're there. You want to vote. Your defence, if you go there and those papers are unlawful, is you've got the papers, you present them. Here's the papers. Or you photocopy them and you send it to the Electoral Commission. I was there, I got the papers. You explain to me, because you have to, 795, you're exercising authority you claim is under the Constitution. You show in the Constitution where it says you can change the pool of people that the governor has selected to who you want us to vote for with no options, and I'll do it, but you can't. And you are required to by our Constitution. So what I'm saying, you get your name tacked off, you've complied with your garbage, we've complied with your garbage law. We cannot fill those papers out without breaking the law of the Constitution, which is the supreme law. You're not going to put electronic voting in. That's crap. If you do, we can refuse to do it. Why? Nowhere in the Constitution says you can have it. If you want it, you need our permission. You don't have it. Has to go to referendum. Remember what I said. Postal vote. You're going overseas on a holiday. Go and get your papers from the Electoral Commission. They tick your name off. They give you an envelope to put your papers in. Do not fill them out then. This is not voting day. You cannot be compelled to vote there, so don't do it. Take the documents home. You've got a mother, if you fly in, fly out. You've got a wife, fly in, fly out. You've got a girlfriend, fly in, fly out. You've already registered for voting. So if you submit those papers, doesn't matter. Nobody has a right to know whether you submitted those papers. So you hold those papers, you give them to your wife, your girlfriend, your friend, your mate, whatever, who hands them in on election day. No postal voting. Because they are getting those figures and manipulating them. That leads to corruption. We can stop them doing it because there's no authority for them to have postal voting prior to an election. So all you're doing is getting your name ticked off saying, yes, I'm going to vote, give me the papers. Then it is your duty, you, not theirs, to look at those papers. Do they comply with our Constitution? No, none of them. None of them. Get it through your head. You are not committing offence. They are, just by giving you those papers. Conspiracy to pervert the course of justice, pervert the Constitution, pervert our law, and pervert our election. They're conspiring together to do it. Who is? The political parties. It's right there in front of you. All you have to do is sit there, get your name ticked off, get your papers, put them in your pocket. If they do not comply with the law, well, you get to vote for one person for the upper house at state level, one person for the lower house, state level, one person for the Senate, federal level, one person for the House of Representatives, federal level. One of each. So each election, for the state, you can vote for two people. One for the upper house, one for the lower. Federal, one for the Senate, one for the House of Representatives. Anything else on that document that leads them to believe you prefer that person when you just voted for that one is fraud. It's stupidity. How can I vote for, say, Joe Bloggs, and he says, well, my preferences are someone else? Hang on. Your preferences don't count. There is no preference. I prefer you. If you're voted in, you represent us. You do not represent that mob or that mob. And it's usually some idiot in a political party. Comprehend what I'm saying? You ask me how to fix it? There it is in a nutshell. Can the national strike go ahead? Yes, it can. It's just more pressure on the idiots. But the voting system has to be brought under control in this country.
Sold my soul to the devil. I sold it for fortune and for fame. Well, I'm starting to regret my decision. I wish I had my soul back again.
Why do you still do it? Why are you still out here?
Well, it goes back to the destiny thing. I made a tough bargain with it, a long time ago, and I'm holding up my hand.
Well, I sold it to the chief commander. In this world, in a world we just don't see. Well, I'm keeping up my end of the bargain, and this will be my destiny. Yes, I sold my soul to the devil. I sold it for fortune and for fame. Well, I'm starting to regret my decision. I wish I had my soul back again.
What was your bargain to get where I am now?
Should I ask who you made the bargain
with the chief commander.
On this earth?
And this earth, and then the world we can't see.
Well, the devil gave me things I'd always dreamed of. In fact, that dude wrote all of my songs. They were magically crafted from the darkest of realms. The wizard makes you blindly sing along. So sing along, 'cause I sold my soul to the devil. I sold it for fortune and for fame. Well, I'm starting to regret my decision. I wish I had my soul back again.
Try to sit down and write something like that. There's a magic to that, and it's not Siegfried and Roy kind of magic. It's a different kind of penetrating magic.
Well, I wish I never went to those crossroads. to make a deal that got me where I am. Look into my eyes, you can see I'm dead inside. My soul is gone and I'm a broken man. 'Cause I sold my soul to the devil. I sold it for fortune and for fame. Yeah, I'm starting to regret my decision. Yeah, I wish I had my soul back again.